Hello everyone. Hope all of you doing fine. I'm Siddharth Sinha. I'm the founder and content head for ABC Talkies and your host for the show. With immense pleasure and excitement, I welcome you to the first episode of ABC Talks by ABC Talkies, world's first cinema marketplace. ABC Talks is going to be all about cinema because through this show, we aim to become a voice to talented filmmakers who are part of the ABC Talkies universe. And in the process, the wisdom and the journey that their stories they share can become an inspiration for budding filmmakers out there who are still looking at different ways of how to get into the system and how to do what to do. And also for the cinema lovers across the globe. That's the intent. Today we have around 300 odd independent filmmakers on our platform. And we thought, why not bring them out and highlight them and tell the world their story through this interesting talk show that we're going to start with. Today is the first episode of ABC Talks, and who else we could have thought of to be our guest for the first episode? It had to be I think he's a friend to us today and more of a voice to us also. So let me just invite, and before I invite him, I want to just tell you who he is all about. He's an award-winning film director, screenwriter, and editor and producer. His films have received awards and recognitions in a total of 347 international film festivals, bringing glory to Odia film industry, Indian film industry, and the Asian film industry also. From the USA to Europe, from Africa to Australia, his films have been screened and appreciated in all continents of the world. He is the founder of film production company BNR Films LLP, and many of his films today are released on ABC Talkies and doing pretty good also. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Biswanath Rath. Hello, Biswanath.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Namaste. Yeah, all good. Thank you so much for the nice and humble introduction. I'm really honored, really humbled to be part of this session. Not just as a speaker, but also as the first speaker, as I told. This is the first session, so I'm in that way. I'm truly honored that I'm the first filmmaker to be invited. But I'm sure this is going to be a very useful series of sessions. A lot of insights will be coming from different filmmakers. They have varied experiences, and through all these experiences, I think the whole content ecosystem that you are trying to build through the independent filmmakers, that's going to get a real boost in terms of experience as well as insights and inputs, which is going to help the upcoming filmmakers. So all the best, and thank you once again. The journey of an independent filmmaker is absolutely, without any doubt, really challenging in every second of the journey. But then the challenge should not be, it should not reach a point wherein mentally we ourselves are not able to convert those challenges as opportunities or tackle them through our own willpower or determination. The moment it overpowers, the challenge becomes difficult. The moment it comes as difficulty in our mind or life, then slowly the disappointment starts, the frustration starts, and probably then the path gets deviated, and probably some filmmakers ultimately they leave their journey, and they think it is very well necessary to go to some other path. So it's basically, so what I mean to say is every moment of the journey has to be enjoyable and should be enjoyed. It is not without challenge, but that challenge should be something which we should be able to enjoy, and we should be able to comprehend that they are all part of the journey. And without those challenges, there is not a single filmmaker, including James Cameron, including Steven Spielberg, the stalwarts of our industry. None of them have gone through a path which is without thorns or without any difficulty, without any challenge. So it's all part of the game. But I have been fortunate as a filmmaker, if you say, as an independent filmmaker, there are several challenges. Like one is the biggest challenge is the family support, which many filmmakers don't get. So I have been really fortunate on a genuine basis. I would say without that, I would not have come so far. I would not have been. It could not have been possible for me to come this far. Genuinely speaking, My family have been my pillar of strength. Although when I made the jump from the so-called jump, although I don't see engineering as something. Engineering is something which gave me lots and lots of skills, lot of knowledge, lot of exposure, which I am used to. I'm able to implement in my filmmaking field, in my filmmaking journey. But then typically, as people say, Biswanath has jumped from engineering or engineering background to filmmaking. If I use that word, if it is a jump, then I would say during that jump, of course, my family was really concerned because we don't have a family film background, or no one in our family ever tried filmmaking. There was absolutely no exposure, and that too we are talking about way back in 2007, sorry,
Yes.
2010 and all. So that was a matter of concern, because as we all know, like the concern regarding financial income, stability, security, that comes into picture. But
Right.
then once that hurdle was crossed, again thanks to my first film Karvala, which I showed to my parents, and it started getting awards and getting recognized in film festival. So slowly and steadily that concern faded, and but even when my point is, even when that concern was there, my family really supported me. They at least thought of giving me a chance to explore my area of passion. Again, here I would say very practically, that's also because I had a engineering background. So I also have worked. I had 3 years of experience. So what is the worst that can happen? That is one thing I would say is something every filmmaker should think before going full time into this industry. That is very crucial. It's not like you just seen movies and you start exploring your passion without any plans, without any calculated risk. You simply jump onto it like you are jumping into a river or ocean. No, it doesn't work. I would really suggest that we should not. A filmmaker should not think that way, or I personally have not thought that way. I would say it was a calculated risk, that not just from my side, even from my family side, that what is the worst that can happen. So I can always go back to my engineering job or engineering profession, right? So it is just a matter of few years that I can at least try. So today I have been fortunate to be in a position wherein I can advise, like many young filmmakers. They take my suggestion and advice when they plan to come full time into this industry. So this is something I really suggest to all of them, that is very crucial, because otherwise it becomes even more challenging. Every day becomes too difficult to handle. And then probably I have seen my a lot of my close friends who were in the industry in different roles as music composer, editor, and all. They have many of them, not all of them, but many of them have also quit this industry because it did not work the way they expected it to work.
Correct. Correct.
So that is one thing. And secondly, coming on to the daily life, independent filmmaker, as we all know, is like a one man army. He or she is a one man army.
Right.
He or she has to see all aspects, and filmmaking is just one aspect of all the aspects that we are talking about. It is just one aspect. It is not the only aspect. That's about technicality. That anyway, your passion, determination will lead you to. It will help you to handle that filmmaking and technicality part. But apart from that, starting from approaching the producers, getting financiers, or getting your film crowdfunded, whatever comes to financial part, then making your films, then sending it to different film festival, whatever we call it, marketing festival, marketing, distribution, and then putting out to different distributing into different platforms, OTTs, and then handling your taxes and things.
You as again a brand, Biswanath Rath, where you have won so many umpteen awards in different festivals, and your films have been showcased in the leading film festivals across the world. Uh, how has it impacted you in the Odia film industry commercially? Has today, have you? I don't know. I might be wrong, but you must have done it. But then let's say, do you have today got offers from the Odia film industry where a commercial film producer who's now putting his money, saying, okay, I want to put my money on brand Biswanath Rath, who can make my next blockbuster movie, which can, has that happened with you or not happened with you?
Okay, I mean, see, basically, as far as your question is concerned, I mean, there are two parts of it. Like, one is, commercial film industry, the operation or the running of commercial film industry, and secondly, producers approaching me as a filmmaker. So, I think both, I mean, it's very important for the industry, any industry, to have a good commercial run or have a good ecosystem wherein producers are making profit and then they are looking for good content or content creators. So I mean, as far as the second part is concerned, of course, like I am connected to many film producers, and eventually, as we will talk about it, like they are interested to listen to my stories or scripts that I have written, and they want to explore the option of making film with me, and it is other way around as well, that I am also closely connected to only few of the good film producers who genuinely love cinema and who actually understand the power of a script or content, and they are both of us are trying to see whether such a possibility exists. So that's a like very small part of it. On the bigger side or on the big picture, as we all know, or probably you might be knowing, unfortunately, so the ODI industry is going through a very, very difficult time. It has become even more challenging than the past. With every passing day, it is entering into, instead of growing, it is entering into even darker zone, wherein the ecosystem is largely not related to the power of content or doesn't give much respect to the power of content. Rather, it is being driven by something else which has got probably almost zero connection with the script or the content or the real power or impact a good content can bring. So it is driven by a very different game. I mean, the starting from there are many aspects. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's a big chapter in terms of understanding the industry. But then, if I just put up the elements, if I just would like to mention the elements are the lack of audience. That has become a kind of an irreversible process because of the irreversible damage that have been made in last 20 years in terms of making unofficially making other industry films, South and Hindi and all. So the audience has backed off. It's very difficult. It is becoming very challenging for the genuine or good filmmakers or good content to bring those audience back. That is one, and driven by that, producers don't want to invest too much, don't want to take too much of risk because they know that the audience is very limited. So the budget is extremely low. So it's all about how to get back the money. No one thinks of profit these days. That's the system now, unfortunately. The only aim or the ambition is to get back the money. Yeah, to recover the money. That is that is something like very, very, I would say, although there is nothing wrong in that, but that also talks volumes about where we are, where this industry is. We don't even need to compare with other industry as a separate entity also. Where it is, it talks volumes about it. And because of that, everything becomes a compromise, starting from script. No one cares for original, or like, no, I would not say no one, very few, only very, very few producers are there. The industry is really fortunate to at least have some people, if not, even if it is low, there are few producers who really want to bring changes or bring changes in terms of good content, as well as this whole ecosystem factor, the sustainability factor in terms of making profits and all. So that way.
So in that case, so how does then an independent filmmaker survive in Odisha market?
I would say, I mean, they should not be dependent on, first of all, to start with, as I told, you see it as backup perspective, you see it as sustainable perspective, it is all the same. They should not be dependent on Odisha industry. And that's where the Odisha filmmakers are struggling a lot. Whoever is completely dependent on the industry, they are struggling a lot. So either they have something, they are, having some other business, or they are trying to have some income from some other source, or they are getting frustrated in very soon they are getting frustrated, disappointed in much faster than they expected, and then they are switching on to something else. They are leaving the profession and switching on to something else. This is what is going on. There are only very few filmmakers who are actually able to strive, and that's also because they are not dependent on cinema or feature film alone. I'm talking about whatever I talk, that is all
Yes.
about the feature film industry.
Correct.
But of course, as far as the documentaries are concerned, there are many forms, like let's say government documentaries are there, even grants are there, documentary grants are there, ad films are there, corporate videos are there, music videos are there. There are many forms. So coming on to your previous question, I actually missed that part. For an independent filmmaker to sustain, it is very important to work in different formats also. They might not necessarily be interested in all formats, but it is necessary to strive, because if we are completely dependent on feature film, the struggle or the difficulty level is 10 or probably 20 times more, because that's a whole big journey. It's a very long journey. So parallelly we have to do, even if we don't want. But in my case, that have been a real blessing for me, because I am actually passionate in different forms. I was and I am passionate in different forms, especially documentary. And in my initial days, of course, like music video, whatever music video and short films I have done, I was quite passionately doing that, and they were all financed, they were all commissioned. So I was able to sustain in that way, and that's where even today also, when I am trying to make bigger format films like feature films, web series and all, I'm also giving equal importance to documentary, feature documentaries, so that the model is sustainable. It's like I cannot just stay for three years. I cannot just have no income for 3 years just because I'm trying to make my feature film. It's not possible. It's not advisable. That's not how sustainability works. So same is coming back to your current question. I would say that's what I have seen in Odisha film industry. Those who are surviving, they are doing only few filmmakers are doing really good in terms of survival, as well as sustainability, as well as making good content, real good content, which can be presented not just nationally but globally. But others, they are facing, either they are struggling a lot and quitting after some time, or they are having some other income to sustain, and then probably trying their best to make the kind of films they want to do. My answer would be like, slowly and steadily, this change is coming. Actually, I can see this change coming on, thanks to not just the OTTs but also the audience, who are actually ready and eager to purchase, eager to pay for short content. That is something that took a long time, but it has started, and that's where we have figures and analytics from with ABC Talkies and with lot other platforms, wherein they are able to share the analytics, they are able to share the details of revenue, wherein it's a very good it's kind of very inspirational, very motivational for filmmakers like us, who are actually able to see some money. If not, again, we have not reached a stage wherein we are able to break even, get the break even. Then profit is the second step. But it is coming to that point wherein we can expect, we are able to even get the break even when the budget and the content is planned smartly, strategically. There are cases, there is a possibility, there is a real possibility that we will get the break even, which was not the case. It's a huge revolution. It may sound very small or irrelevant for a general audience, but the filmmakers, short filmmakers, they will definitely connect to this point, that it was never the case. Forget about getting revenue. Even watching it for free in a film festival or in any platform was a big was considered as a big blessing for the filmmaker, if the audience came and watched for free. From that point, we have come to a point wherein there is a slow audience base that is building up, and they are searching for content in different genres like thriller, suspense, horror, and not just social drama, or not just because that was also another stereotype that was being made for short film, that short films are made for so-called creating awareness or delivering a social message. Yes, that is one category of short films. It should not, every short film need not be falling on that only category that
Yeah.
generally people stereotype. No,
Right.
it's just one category. Maybe that category has got many short films or many number in that genre, but then there are filmmakers, there are very bold filmmakers who are experimenting in various genres, be it psychology, be it psychic thriller, be it comedy. It can be any mainstream genre, and people are short filmmakers have started experimenting. That's a very good experiment because people want variety. The audience want variety, and that's where the whole ecosystem is getting slowly built. It's a very positive and a very good time for the short filmmakers to experiment and the audience to explore different genres. So that's building up. That's definitely the process is gradual, but it has started, and we can see the figures to prove our point. We all have figures and facts and figures in different OTTs. And as I told, like whenever I say this, I have ABC Talkies in my mind. I would not even venture into figures of some other OTTs. I would clearly I can put the figures that I have with ABC Talkies by distributing my own content there. As a filmmaker, I can put up the figures to prove my point. They are all public. So that's a big booster for the filmmakers like us.
How do you see your view? What's your view on pay-per-view as a subscription model that is there today in the entire ecosystem? What is your view on that?
Yeah, as you rightly told, it has been there in the West, like starting from Amazon's platform or earlier platform before Prime, and then Apple had it, Google had it since long. So I mean, they are well acquainted with that system. It all started with first DVD, and then the DVD concept, took on to the digital form, took the digital form of pay per view or compared to the subscription based. In India, when it started, no one, including me, we thought it would work because traditionally, even the subscription was also not existing. But when the subscription came, it was like quite equivalent to the television. The last was the TV subscription, which was monthly again, the TV channel subscription. So it was quite a little bit similar to that. So people started adopting it. But then pay-per-view was something which actually we also didn't expect it to work. And till date, of course, it's not that it has it has overtook the subscription base, because people see it in a way that in subscription we will get millions of content to our disposal, but then pay-per-view is limited to one content alone. So there is no comparison in terms of the return they get for the value they get for their money. But then at the same time, I would say the adoption to pay-per-view has started very surprisingly. But then when I come to analysis part, when I analyze the reasons behind it, there are logics, there are reasons behind it. And again, I would say that I can see that it is growing up. Although initially we never thought about it, but it is growing up for some specific reasons. Number one reason I would cite as a filmmaker is, see, as we all know, the short films can be distributed on non-exclusive basis. We can distribute it in many platforms, starting from ABC Talkies to Amazon to Netflix to there are many, Hotstar and all. But then everything comes with a price. Every big platforms come with their own price, not in terms of money, but in terms of some other loss that the filmmaker or the content ecosystem has to face, not just the filmmaker, even the audience has to face.
Right.
It's very difficult to get the visibility of content there in terms of filmmaker's perspective, and for the audience it is very difficult to reach or to search a short films which they wanted to watch, or the kind of short film they wanted to watch. It's very difficult there. Although the big platforms, they claim that they curate, they are putting their best effort to make such films visible, we all know that their primary focus, their at least that's how I know, I mean, as far as my analysis goes, I can clearly see that their focus lies on web series and then feature film, not even
Hmm.
feature film.
Hmm.
So I really don't think that feature film, unless we are sharing the link, or we are telling in our network, we are spreading in our network that our film, so and so film, is there in that platform. You just go and search. It's a very limited network that people know that your film is there. Otherwise, the general audience who are totally not connected, disconnected to the filmmaker, the larger mass, they are not able to find the kind of short films or content they want to see. So the content discovery becomes a huge challenge, and we get to know about all these things when we spend months and years of time. So that's where I think the kind of platform that ABC Talkies is, and the if we talk about the ecosystem, not just the fact that ABC Talkies play a big role, but also the audience gets a big benefit there. The reason being, they get a big benefit there because the focus is clearly on this kind of independent films. This is not to say that ABC Talkies might not be having feature films or web series, but then there is a definite focus on this kind of independent films,
Yes.
be it short films, document. Even I would say, I would be very blunt or very honest that short film documentary really need a lot more support, because we know the
Understood.
scenario, and we know the consumer patterns, their behavior. So they need a lot of hand holding, they need a lot of care and support. So that's where I can see that ABC Talkies, although there might be a web series, there might be feature film, the hand holding and the support that the content needs is really there, and that helps a lot to the audience also, who can easily search what are the films in this genre, or what are the most watched short films, documentaries. They can easily go there and search, and that's where they think there is a value addition, and they think there is the value that they will get out of their money or whatever they purchase, even if it is just for one content. So this is what my observation says, or this is what I have observed over the years, and that's why they see a value, the audience sees as value, and they are purchasing. Although again, we cannot compare the number of views that the
Yeah.
large platforms like Hotstar gets, but
Yeah.
here there is a loyal fan base that's being built up, and that will help the ecosystem.
It's
Cannot
a
even think.
gradual. I'll say it is a good start,
Yeah.
and it'll gradually. Obviously, anything that is been consumer pattern or consumer
Yeah.
behavior cannot
Right.
change overnight.
Be-
It
be- be-
takes time.
yeah, because I would really like to know, because about I would like to compare in that way, just to get more insight. I really I have doubts on the fact that although Google and all, they also have, Apple and all, they also have this pay-per-view concept. Even in India, I'm talking about Indian market, wherein they also have this since a long time. I really don't know whether I really have doubts, serious doubts, whether people are going there to watch content and they're paying there, because theoretically they might be available there, but I really doubt, because it
See, it
becomes so.
depends. It totally depends on. Again, it boils down to who has a better content. So today, if you want to watch for a long time, for a long, I am a James Bond fan. I love the James Bond series. For a long time, I used to think, yeah, ये James Bond films, where are they? Why are they not on the digital space? Well, today, let's face it, nobody watches a TV anymore. People, we are online, we are on phone or laptop, and I want to watch James Bond is not there. So if today if James Bond is there available in Apple or on Google, I will want to then go and buy that movie and watch it over there, right? Was that see in ABC Talkies I think you must be aware of it, but I want to just tell again to this platform again that ABC Talkies, we are a marketplace. So when we say a marketplace, we are very simple that we are a platform where buyer and seller meet, they watch, and they there's no subscription to the buyer who's a consumer, and seller doesn't have any kind of overheads where he has to pay us anything to put their content on the platform. But what what we our intent is that when we're saying that we are going way beyond of what we want to do for the filmmaker, We have a valuation process in the system where your film comes. Your film is yours. You upload your film. You can select your ticket price. We have created a entire curation model where consumers are watching it and giving rating to you. That's the first model. End intent is that if your film does well, then we are trying to sell that content to OTT platforms. And that's our end intent. Because we
Right.
become that one marketplace for OTTs to buy commercially viable movies. They say,
Right.
okay, short film, but has commercial viability. Let's buy it from here. That's what the whole intent is.
Right.
But in the entire journey, what we have so far got a feedback from our independent filmmakers that they are independent filmmakers for a reason. Why? What is the reason? That they cannot market themselves. They cannot market their films. Now, as a platform, it's not possible for us to market every film, right?
Correct.
We
Very true.
do couple of good films in a month. We do. But is there any tips for the independent filmmakers that you want to give? That while we are as the ABC Talkies, we are here to bring you to this part of the journey. The next part of the journey, we are there, but the middle phase is at the marketing of the film or how to promote yourself, how to make a brand yourself. Somewhere you have to walk that path. What is that
Right.
your tips that you want to give to the filmmakers?
Uh, Again, another very valid and very relevant question. See, I would say, like, of course, I have seen many independent filmmakers saying this thing, and that is true that they cannot market. They say that our primary skill or talent lies in writing and film direction, and that itself is so long a process that we either don't have time, or even if we have time, we don't have the necessary skills, basic skills required for marketing or promoting our films. Yes, they are right on in their logic or reasoning, but then as I told, there are many things in filmmaking that we cannot say that we cannot do, either for lack of resource or time. We have to do, because it is the same journey of an entrepreneur. Filmmakers are independent filmmakers are entrepreneur, right? So the journey of entrepreneur can never be defined in terms of what he or she is able to do or not able to do. Even if something is required, if something is required, even if you are not able to do, you have to find your path, find your techniques, tricks to do that thing, because it is something to be done. It is necessary. It is very critical part of it. It is not something which we can ignore. The whole film is made to make to reach the to make it reach to the audience, to show it to the audience, right? If it is not being watched by the audience, then the only film that we can make is to a film which we are making to see ourselves or to watch ourselves. That is the only film that doesn't require promoting or marketing. But I think, no, I mean, there will be only exceptional films, or that's a very rare thing that a filmmaker is making a film only for himself. It cannot, that cannot be the generally, be it parallel cinema, be it mainstream cinema, irrespective of the category, a filmmaker makes a film to show it to an audience. Maybe the audience size can differ, but or type can differ. They are making it for audience. So whether you are making it for mass or whether you are making it for that specific audience, ultimately it has to reach that target audience. And for that, who is responsible? That's the big question. For a big production, a mainstream production or film, we already know the answer, that there are many agencies, many organizations, many stakeholders involved who will take care of it.
Right.
But we are talking about independent films. Then who is responsible? Fortunately, unfortunately, the filmmaker is responsible for taking the films to, be it film festival marketing or be it to OTT, be it to mainstream OTT. Ultimately, the filmmaker is responsible. And now, the only variation can be if there is a producer. If they themselves have not produced it, there is a producer. Filmmakers. There are independent films, including our own film Ravaya, which have not been financed or financed by us. Basically, we produced in terms of technicality, but it has not been financed by us. It was crowdsourced. So if it is crowdsourced, again, there is no one producer. You are the responsible person. But if there is one or two producer who have produced your film, who have financed your film, then the responsibility lies with them. Of course, with your technical support, the producer, the responsibility lies with them. whatever it is, if we merge these two in one category, ultimately we have to take care of our films. We cannot simply outsource it. Neither short film nor documentary nor feature film, if it falls under independent category, we have to take care of our film. We have to see where it is going, what is happening, what is the response, and what more we can do, starting from a relatively small platform to a big platform. What can be the journey, how we can promote it, everything lies with the filmmaker. And that's where actually I would say many short filmmakers have a very wrong notion that they will outsource to this and this distribution company or production company or to any platform, and then the rest lies with them.
Yeah.
Even for your model also, although your intention is good, your planning and the model is really good in terms of taking it to bigger platforms, the filmmaker have to get involved. It cannot be a process of outsourcing, that they have given you the film to you, and it is all either your responsibility, or syndicators or distributor like us who are taking their content, it is their responsibility. They have to get involved. They have to spread the link. They have to market it. They have to see to it that people are watching it. They are reviewing it. They may like, may not like. They at least they can review it. They can put their reviews in platforms like IMDb. From there, the word of mouth will grow. From there, probably we can better market it to the bigger platforms. So it's all a long chain again, and they have to understand that they have to get involved in that chain. They cannot just say that, okay, I'm working on my bigger film or other films. I am totally having a very hectic schedule, and I so in that way eventually that will get that will die on its own. The content will die on its own. That will face its own death, because no platform, no entity, no single entity, no platform, no distributor can devote its entire time to promote just one short film. It cannot happen that way. It's an ocean, and we also have our there are many content. We have to support many filmmakers at a time, so we cannot just sit behind, and it takes a lot of time, as we all know, the processing of data, and then once it gets released, to reach it, to make it reach to the audience, and to get the reception, and then to take it to other platforms. It's a a whole lot of time that we need to spend for each content. So even for the short film producers, you have raised a very relevant question, that they have to get involved. They have to see to it that it is getting reached, or it is whether it is reaching or not, what can be corrected, what can be the change in strategy. They have to get involved. They cannot say that how much time we will spend on a short film, we have web series to make. Of course, then you should not be complaining about the short film not being watched by audience. It's a very systematic and a very long chain. It's a very long process. It doesn't happen overnight, that you just put it on a platform and it becomes a viral sensation or something, and then tomorrow you will get back all your money, or at least your recognition, and then you don't have to spend any time. It doesn't work that way. Time is required. Again, coming back to patience is required. So that unfortunately many filmmakers or producers, they don't understand. Even the producers who are investing in good content, or good content, they are supporting independent filmmakers, they don't understand it. So the loss is twice. I mean, the loss belongs to the filmmaker, and the loss belongs also to the film producer, the financier. They don't understand this fact. They just move on to some other project or some other work, and then they say that people are not watching it, or it is too slow a process. So they have to understand that slowly and steadily. They have to understand that they have to get involved. Every no film can reach to the target audience without effort and time. It needs time and effort. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. So what's next for brand Biswanath Rath or /BNR Films?
Yeah. That's again another interesting question. I mean, we are really excited about our upcoming projects. As I told, I have started pitching script ideas, the feature film idea. Right now, I have not developed web series script. I have story ideas, but then I have not developed them into scripts. I have kept it for a later part of time. As of now, the focus is on feature length content, probably as a systematic step to the next zone, or to the next level. So for our next phase, I have one feature film to start with, one Hindi feature script, which I'm pitching to different producer, and then one feature length film in Sambalpuri language, or at least originally planned in Sambalpuri language, for which we did ample research last year. Almost 6 months of research has gone into that to build that script, and fortunately the script is complete. And we have also done few part of the pre-production, like recce and the casting of lead pairs and all. And it has been a really amazing and kind of very very inspirational journey last year. Even though I would say we have put up a team who is really really passionate, dedicated, and although we are nowhere close to go into the production now, or the proper pre-production now. We don't want to rush up again. We don't want to make any big compromise on our dreams, or real the planning part of it, or the actual aspiration part of it. So we are going slow in that way. It takes time, but then we are trying to see or trying to bring on board such kind of producers or visionaries who can actually execute the vision, or can support that kind of vision. So it's of course challenging, but then we are still hopeful. We are meeting a lot of people, or people like the kind of producers that I told. There are few in number, but then there are there. We have been fortunate to have such people who still can bring light in such kind of a darkness. They are trying their best. So we are meeting them. We are trying to see like how we can progress further. And then these are the two bound script we have. We as of now we are focusing on it. Parallelly, coming on to documentaries, that is one thing I would really like to talk about. Many think that probably we are all focusing on feature film now, but then it is just not true. Feature documentary is one area, again thanks to the whole journey or the experience that we had in last few years by taking few of our documentary to different platforms. We have been really inspired, motivated to take this documentary form to the next level in terms of at least the content format. In terms of feature documentary, we have developed several scripts, and we are pitching it to different international documentary grants, national and international documentary grants. Again, we cannot produce them, we cannot finance them, but we cannot finance them, we can definitely technically produce them. So we have been reaching to different grants, we have been applying there. We are waiting for the results. So if anything works out, then we will be jumping into the production part of it, because the research is complete, the script is complete, the teams are in place. We are able to license with different teams, set up different teams for executing those documentaries. They're all based in Odisha on different genre, different stories. And of course, not necessarily in Odia. They will have Odia interviews by real people, but then they are in English or Hindi or in different formats. So mostly in English, of course, because in that way we can see that they can reach a much bigger audience base internationally. So that is always there. That is there. If I put it short, feature documentary and feature film, those two are our areas of focus now. So there are specific projects that are going on, but nothing is in production now. They are in different phase of either financing and pre-production, and we really don't want to rush up. So we are going gradually, slowly, but it's a lot of work going on parallelly. So we are all excited to see which project will get the financing, or which will go to the floor, or we'll see the production day.
Right.
So
Right. Good. So my last question to you before we take your permission to leave you. This is especially for my young students, film students who are right now budding filmmakers who are planning to get into the industry. And we know the journey that they usually make us today's generation, at least not earlier, but today's generation, that because thanks to the smartphone they have in their thing, so they can create a small film, like a student film, and put it on YouTube, and then I can come to show you that I have that cinematic skills that I can and then apply for a job to filmmakers. Um, if let's say these filmmakers, these students who right now we are trying to get them onto our platform, and the whole objective is that if they can create some kind of commercial value for their film, with that report card, if they go to you, who's the established filmmaker, do you see that person in a different horizon or different kind of a space, or do you still see that? Because if I today I am a student and I put a film on ABC Talkies, and my film has done really good in terms of commercial done well, it has sold tickets while it be a student film, will that report card help that person to come to you with a, when they're asking for a job? And do you see that AD as a like, okay, this guy has commercial potential also?
Definitely, it's absolutely true that and I mean I would say that the short filmmakers, they need to understand this very fact that even as a filmmaker also, it's not that just having so many awards or recognition helps directly in getting a commercial. It doesn't work that way. In fact, yes, of course, you get some recognition from your film festival, or you get some award. It not just boosts your morale, but also proves a point that you have talent, or you have the capability to make films. But then commercial, having said that, the commercial value or the commercial element is something that is definitely a producer or an audience will look for, because that's where the actual the so-called definition of mainstream lies. It's a definite financial system wherein the audience is expecting the return on its investment, return on his or her investment. That whether it is the word paisa vasool comes from there, right?
Yes.
Whether we have got back the money, whether it is worth the money. Although it's very subjective, but then the audience should feel that at least he got back the money, if not profit. And sometimes they say that I also got profit. So that's the kind of more satisfaction, mental or emotional satisfaction that derive from watching a film. Right. That's where the whole art of commercial filmmaking lies. The definitions can be really weird. The rules put up by a producer or audience can be really very different. Some people, some filmmaker can say it's very vague. Some filmmaker say yes, this is required. So that's where the word of masala films or the masala elements comes into. Some say that song is required. Some say that dance sequence or let's say fight sequence is required. This. So people stereotype it in different ways, but ultimately it comes to the wholesome entertainment that we can provide. And to answer your question, yes, if a filmmaker can prove that from his film, the commercial elements can be proven by his film or the ticket sales, I would say not just me, any film director, any film producer will give much more importance to him or her than just the awards or just the recognition. Because even in that actually, I have been fortunate to work in film industries like the Tamil film industry. I have worked in Tamil film industry.
Yes.
They are very matured in that. They have evolved over the years, and they don't. If you go to them with the awards and all, they of course appreciate, they of course respect, but then they actually look for, even if they talk directly or they don't talk, doesn't matter. We already know that they are looking for the commercial elements or the entertainment quotient of it. So that is what the director and the producer will look for, whether it is not there. So if it is there, they will not even care whether it has got any award or not. They will give secondary importance to that. They will definitely see whether that entertainment quotient is there. And that's where these short filmmakers, they call it showreel. They don't call it short films. Exactly. They call it showreel. So they go to the extent of making 30-minute showreel. And I have seen films, I have been involved with such short filmmakers who have made short films of around 25-30 minutes with huge budget, calling it showreel, which is actually the first 25 minutes of their 2 hour or 2.5 hours feature film. So they have made it, they have shown it to the film producer or the director, saying that this is what I can make, or this is what I want to make. So it is completely proven in those 25 minutes that it is a fully blown, it can be made into a fully blown commercial or entertainment film. So that's what I think it's a very important time for the short filmmakers to understand this fact that showreel is, first of all, it is necessary, and the more they can prove, of course, they can always go for a completely non-commercial thing. but then that will eventually, it will not help. There is very less chance, it is very less likely that that will help them to get into a commercial venture or commercial project in any role, either AD or even director. So it's better to understand that. I would say, I would suggest them to understand this fact, and they can always experiment in different forms and different genres, different film formats or different concepts. They can always experiment, but if they want them to see them, they want themselves to see them, they want them to see themselves in different commercial ventures, they have to understand this fact, and they have to start making such short films which can prove their capability in that lineup, in that phase.
Right,
Yeah, yeah. I think my point is clear. I made
yes,
it clear. Yeah, yeah.
yes. Great. Any closing remark before we end this episode? It's been a really for me, it was a lot of things I have taken notes on, which will help me in future to talk to other filmmakers in the way I want to understand. But any closing remark that you have before we end the show?
Yeah, I would repeat the very point that the filmmakers and even if the filmmaker and producer is different, even in that case also, whatever it is, they have to get involved. Which I see there is a lot of scope, and there is a lot of gap in terms of getting involved in promotion, distribution, and marketing. Number one, and number two is, as I told, the short filmmakers, as we already discussed, as you rightly put on, the short filmmakers have to understand the kind of film the audience wants or they appreciate, even in the mainstream genre, and they can always, they don't need to cater to the audience that okay, they were watching this and I have to make it. It's not necessary. But whatever they are making, the form or the setup, the structure have to be something which should provide entertainment. We just cannot say that okay, it has won Oscar or it has won Cannes and that's why everyone has to love it and trust. It doesn't work that way. In that way, if that was the case, the film festival would have got audience, like houseful audience, and they would have been running for weeks and months, the way the film theaters ran. The film previously, the films used to run in theaters and also in film festival. But why the audience was limited? Because the traditionally, even the film audience, the short film audience, they always knew that okay, they always understood, or they always thought, although they were not fully right, but they always thought, or they put the short film into the artistic category or parallel cinema category, which will eventually bore them. It will make them sleep in no time, in 5-10 minutes. And that's why there was a huge disconnect between the good content and the audience. But right now, they are experimenting, the audience is more open, so this is the right time to understand that the entertainment can be there without compromising the vision, without making it unnecessarily commercial or making it masala. The entertainment can be there with a message, or with their own vision, without compromising their vision. So I would say, I always give few of the examples that I have made, because that's the best I can give. I myself have tried to do that way deliberately, even in our latest film, which was again released 2 years back, Ravaiya, short film, wherein there was a message, but then I deliberately tried it to make entertaining without unnecessarily making it without putting unnecessary element, just to make it entertaining. I always try that as a filmmaker, and I would say that is in my view, it is necessary to make it entertaining, so that the people watch the mass experiments with different short films to make them reach that stage is necessary. So that's all. And it is also, it was very, very amazing experience for me to talk about various aspects. The questions were something really, really relevant, and I also would like to like the short filmmakers to learn these things, and even also they share their own insights and experience. It was an amazing experience in this entire 1 hour of talk show.
There's been it's been a great experience, and I think we thought how will it go, but it's panned out pretty well for me. But thank you so much for giving your precious time to us. I know you are super busy right now with your projects. But yeah, thank you being being a part of with us for the last 1 year now, and we see going forward a long time now. Um, and we will surely be in touch with you again soon, and
Sure.
we will be talking.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you everybody for joining us and listening to Biswanath Rath, the award-winning filmmaker that we first spoke to in our first episode of ABC Talks. We will be seeing you again the next episode with somebody, with somebody more talented who's there with us in the system. Till then, all of you, please take care and keep watching films on ABC Talkies and keep making some good commercial short films also on ABC Talkies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sir.